The International Space Station, ISS, became a beacon of cooperation between the Soviet Union and the United States after the Cold War. Positioned in Earth's orbit, this scientific marvel tackled a wide array of research challenges, from medicine to material science. It also represented a unique experiment in human coexistence, bringing together astronauts from different nations despite terrestrial tensions. Crew rotations to the ISS were made via the Soyuz space shuttle. On one particular mission, biologist Kira and engineer Christian were sent to join the existing crew of 4 astronauts aboard the station. As the Soyuz shuttle ascended into orbit, the Flight Control Center congratulated the pair and joked about the Russian tradition of knocking 3 times before entering a door. When the docking procedure was complete, the newcomers were warmly welcomed by their new teammates, American astronaut Gordon, Russian cosmonauts Nika, and brothers Nikolai and Alexei. Kira was captivated by the weightlessness aboard the station, marveling at this new mode of existence. Despite cultural differences and a language barrier, the Americans and Russians worked well together. Nika, ever enthusiastic, began teaching Kira basic Russian phrases commonly exchanged on the station. Kira was shown her section, and Gordon demonstrated how to sleep in zero gravity, explaining his preference for a sleeping bag while others enjoyed the freedom of floating. Kira quickly got to work, transferring her lab mice into specialized cages. Alexei, assisting her, mentioned that the station had hosted many mice before, but they struggled to adapt without gravity as there was nothing for them to hold on to. Later that evening, the crew celebrated with a communal dinner. Stories were shared about their hometowns, and songs from Earth were sung in a rare moment of joy and camaraderie. The unwritten rule of the station was clear: no discussions about politics. Gifts from Earth were exchanged, with the newcomers distributing small tokens and souvenirs from loved ones. Kira took her first opportunity to gaze at Earth from the observation dome. Her colleagues shared a profound truth about the view.
Enjoy.
Forget about everything that happens down there.
From space, borders are invisible, and humanity appears united and indivisible. Yina assisted Kira in preparing for her first night aboard the ISS, warning her that the initial adjustment could be challenging. However, Kira awoke the next morning in good spirits. That feeling quickly soured when she discovered her lab mice in poor condition, struggling in the microgravity environment. As Kira peered out at Earth, searching for solace, her attention was drawn to sudden, intense flashes over the United States.
Hey guys, I think I'm seeing a volcano erupting.
Alarmed, she summoned the others. The team quickly realized the horrifying truth: a nuclear war had broken out on the planet below. Gordon ordered everyone to leave the observation dome.
Guys, get out! Foster, let's go. Foster,
shutting the shutters to prevent further distress. Communication systems aboard the station failed shortly after, though all other systems appeared operational. A written message from Houston arrived for Gordon, stating that a direct act of aggression had occurred between Russia and America, instructing him to seize control of the station at any cost. Gordon quietly discussed the message with Kira and Christian, suspecting that the Russians might have received a similar order from their government. The trio decided to wait for 24 hours before taking any action, hoping for clarity or resolution. Tensions began to rise when Na reported a problem with the station's thrust system. Without adjustments from mission control, the ISS was descending dangerously low in orbit, threatening to crash into Earth. Nikolai suggested the radio malfunction might be due to a broken external antenna that required manual repair. Gordon volunteered to go out for the repair, and Na helped him suit up, revealing the depth of their bond with a tender kiss. The gesture hinted at a relationship that went beyond mere professionalism. In the void of open space, Gordon saw the Earth engulfed in flames and devastation. Overcome with emotion, he radioed Kira, urging her to keep the others away from the observation dome. Trying to distract herself and Gordon from the chaos, Kira asked him about his relationship with Na. Gordon revealed that they had met aboard the station, their connection blossoming in the isolation of space. He quickly shifted the topic to Kira's personal life, hoping to lighten the mood. Kira shares her story with Gordon, explaining how she spent 7 years studying organ replacement but faced repeated failures. She hopes zero gravity might provide solutions. Nearby, Alexei listens in on their conversation. While Christian investigates the communication loss, Alexei discreetly cuts the wire and replaces it with a seemingly intact piece, ensuring Christian finds no issue. Meanwhile, Gordon approaches the external antenna, forced to unhook his short safety tether to complete the task. He discovers the antenna is fully functional, but before he can relay the news, a mechanical arm on the station begins moving toward him. Unbeknownst to Nika and Alexei, Nikolai controls the arm, intending to harm Gordon. Despite Gordon's attempts to warn Kira, the arm strikes him, sending him spinning into open space. Nika and Kira spot him through the windows and rush to the airlock, donning spacesuits and extending a rescue rope. To their despair, Gordon is not at the end of the rope. Kira suggests venturing further into space to find him, but Christian implores her not to leave him alone with the Russians. Meanwhile, Nika confronts Nikolai and Alexei, who admit they received orders to eliminate the Americans when communication was lost. Alexei expresses regret, claiming he never expected Nikolai to act so ruthlessly. Nikolai justifies his actions, asserting that the Americans would have done the same. Devastated, Nika pleads for them to save Gordon, even threatening to reveal everything to Kira and Christian. Kira and Christian, now convinced the Russians initiated hostilities, mourn Gordon's presumed death. In her grief and anger, Nika approaches Kira with a plan. She offers to exchange her key for access to the Americans' locker. Nika explains that the locker contains experimental radiation sickness medicine, a crucial tool for aiding survivors on Earth. She argues that whichever side possesses the medicine will hold power over the post-war world. Though hesitant, Kira agrees, driven by the hope of saving lives. While Nika distracts Nikolai and Alexei, Kira sneaks into the laboratory to locate the medicine. However, when she cannot find the Zero locker, Christian reveals there is no such compartment. Realizing Nika's deceit, Kira and Christian prepare to confront the Russians. Meanwhile, Nika's plan unravels. Nikolai and Alexei find her tampering with the oxygen tubes, where she intends to sabotage the station. Nikolai urges her to stop, but her grief over Gordon's death fuels her resolve. Christian intervenes, sneaking up behind Nika and striking her with a cylinder. Tragically, he misjudges the blow, killing her. Overwhelmed with guilt, Christian weeps, realizing he only meant to subdue her. Nikolai and Alexei mourn Nika's death. Nikolai pressures Alexei to help him kill the Americans, invoking their duty to their country. However, Alexei refuses, denouncing further violence. While Nikolai hunts for Kira and Christian with a screwdriver, Alexei spots movement outside the station. To his shock, it is Gordon, clinging to the I.S.S. Acting swiftly, Alexei uses the mechanical arm to bring Gordon back aboard. Nikolai, still searching for the Americans, attempts to deceive them by claiming Nika is alive and calling for a meeting. However, when Kira and Christian fail to appear, Gordon enters, wielding a drill. Kira and Christian are stunned to see Gordon alive. Ignoring their relief, Gordon demands answers about Nika's fate. With regret, Alexei confesses her death. Consumed by rage, Gordon locks the entire crew in a compartment and turns his wrath on Nikolai, attacking him with the drill. Gordon and Nikolai engage in a brutal fight, their struggle spinning them in zero gravity. Alexei, attempting to intervene, tries to unlock the compartment. In the chaos, Nikolai wrests the drill from Gordon, wounding him severely. Gordon retaliates by pulling Nikolai's screwdriver and driving it into his neck. When Alexei finally manages to open the compartment, he finds two lifeless bodies floating in a grisly embrace, blood suspended in the air. The survivors are shaken but follow protocol, arranging the bodies and securing them in storage. The station continues its orbit over the burning Earth, its crew dwindling and morale shattered. Later, Kira searches the laboratory, retracing Nika's steps. To her astonishment, she discovers the hidden Zero module. Nika had told the truth after all. Excited, Kira rushes to share her discovery with Christian. However, upon entering his sleep capsule, she finds something unexpected, a Soyuz spacesuit and Russian research materials. It becomes clear that Christian had planned to return to Earth alone. Meanwhile, Christian is busy sabotaging the station's life support systems, intending to frame Kira. He approaches Alexei, accusing Kira of scheming to escape with Nika's research, painting her as selfish and manipulative. Alexei, noticing malfunctions in the station systems, grows suspicious of Christian. Tensions escalate further during a meal when Alexei observes the knife Christian uses to slice bread. Though Christian offers a disarming smile, his behavior unsettles Alexei. As Alexei begins to float toward the door, Kira recalls a phrase about mutual support that Naika had taught her. Hearing this, Alexei hesitates and turns back just as Christian grabs the knife and lunges at them. A chaotic fight ensues. Alexei blocks Christian's attack with his hand but suffers a deep wound. Kira, thinking quickly, manages to subdue Christian by strangling him. Though shaken, she administers first aid to Alexei's injured hand. Together, the two repair the sabotaged life support system, narrowly averting disaster. In the laboratory, Kira notices a fine net in the mouse cages, which had helped keep the animals alive. She realizes it was Alexei's quiet intervention that preserved them, showing his commitment to the mission despite the turmoil. Suddenly, the station's communication system comes back online, stabilizing the orbit and preventing an imminent fall to Earth. Relief washes over the two astronauts, but messages from their respective governments soon arrive. Both countries demand confirmation of mission success and instructions to secure control of the station. However, neither Kira nor Alexei feels loyalty to the destructive orders from their leadership. In an act of defiance, Kira and Alexei decide to leave the station, taking the research results with them. They board the Soyuz capsule, choosing to return to Earth in an uncontrolled freefall rather than perpetuate the cycle of conflict. As the capsule plummets toward Earth, Alexei asks Kira where they are headed. For the first time, Kira has no answer. They brace for impact, uncertain of their future, but united in their shared choice to reject division and destruction. The screen fades to black as the Soyuz capsule hurtles toward the planet, leaving the audience with questions about the fate of the astronauts and the fractured world below. This is where the film ends.